Joining us today for the 20th meeting of the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision, neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority. And may we use our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. We have before us the meeting minutes of the regular meeting of May 4, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve same, waiving the reading thereof?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment portion. We have a couple of really nice presentations here, some special certificates. This is going to be for Deborah Douglas. Matt, are you out there? There he is, out of sight. Sir, the microphone is yours.
They say that everything you do, and really everything, creates a certain effect, a certain impact. We here, and those of us who work for Lake County Utilities, hold very sacred our commitment to public service. And as a department, we do not now, nor have we ever believed in customer satisfaction. We believe in customer excellence. Not to make the customer experience merely satisfactory, but rather to make it excellent. One of our champions in that cause is Deborah Douglas. Deborah will be retiring in early June after having served 18 years in the customer service and billing office, where daily she was committed to the mission of delivering excellence. She performed her job and lives with the simple motto at the core of her character: when you are called for a great duty because you have been given a great ability, you do your very best to leave a great footprint, no matter what. Because small gestures, even the smallest of gestures, can alter the course of someone's day. For 18 years, she has been the face of our department. For 18 years, she has welcomed our 124,000 water customers and 129,000 sanitary sewer customers. For 18 years, people came to pay their bills in person, just to chat with her, when they could have easily paid it online. For 18 years, she fomented friendships with customers and coworkers alike. For 18 years, she has represented the LCDU so very well. As Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. And Deborah has made so many people feel so very good. For me personally, she's been more than a colleague. She's been a friend. Now, let me say that it is my prayer that Deborah will have a healthy and fulfilling retirement, surrounded by friends and family, knowing that her career has been marked by the outstanding impact she has made on the countless lives that she's touched. On behalf of the LCDU and the citizens of Lake County, I want to thank Deborah from the very bottom of my heart.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you.
Want to say something?
Well, I'm just so thankful to have been able to work in the county and to meet so many amazing people. My supervisors that are here, and of course, Matt, he is one of a kind. I remember the day that he interviewed for the job. I was the first person that he was able to talk to, and he has been such a blessing, and I've watched him grow. And that's awesome. I'm so thankful today to have my two sons. My oldest son was a Navy SEAL, and he's now working EMS. My youngest son, United States Army, and he's working EMS in Wickliffe. I think you swore him in. And he's also a firefighter. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, guys. I'm going to miss you, Randy, my supervisors. I'm going to miss everyone. I will stop in on occasion. Thank you.
Now, Deborah, you know you just can't get away with turning around and sitting down now. You know it's not official until Commissioner Plechnik, our ambassador.
Deborah, let me just say, on behalf of the county commissioners, we're so grateful to you for your many years of service. Paying bills is no one's favorite endeavor, so it's doubly hard to give that feeling of belonging and that sense of gratitude to someone who has to pay a bill.
Yeah.
You have a tough job. It's like working for the IRS. You're starting with a deficit. But nonetheless, when I think of the Lake County Department of Utilities billing, I think of a warm smile and a kind word. It's impossible to talk to Deborah without feeling grateful for her help and her hard work. And frankly, after 5 minutes, she'll invite you to go to her church. She is one of the warmest, most kind people you've ever met, and you've given that dedication and that kindness to Lake County residents for nearly 2 decades. So I wish there was a way I could convince you not to leave, but in lieu of that, congratulations on a well-deserved retirement.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
First of all, congratulations on retirement. And it's we who are thankful that we had you for that time. The impact on customers goes a long way, and we know that the phone calls you get wasn't always like, boy, how are you doing today? And that was great. So you had to deal with some, I'm sure, some angry people at times, and how you deal with that. I can tell by your smile and the way you've raised your kids that this is just a great job for you, and we were the benefit of it. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And if I could just echo those sentiments and amplify them in this regard, even at this moment when we're here to honor and recognize you, you found it in yourself to recognize Matt of our Lake County family and your sons of your family.
Yes.
That is right there, an example of your character showing through and through. We are truly blessed to have you be part of our family. Thank you, Matt. And now it's time for the photo. But we can redo this again when he gets here. A couple bites at the end.
Oops.
One, two, three. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. So much.
You made it. Yay. And we have yet another special recognition. Deputy Reed. Sheriff, did you want to take this one on? Do you want me to keep going here? Okay. This one's pretty impressive. We've got the certificate of recognition honoring Deputy Mike Reed of the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Whereas, on duty as the school resource officer at Auburn Career Center, Deputy Mike Reed noticed an employee, Mary Feathers, had begun to choke while eating lunch and was not able to breathe. He immediately responded to her distress and was able to deliver the Heimlich maneuver successfully, clearing her airway, enabling her to breathe again. Now therefore, we, the Board of Lake County Commissioners, joins Mary Feathers in commending Deputy Mike Reed of the Lake County Sheriff's Office for his life-saving efforts and outstanding job he has performed in a crisis. And I will say, before the meeting, Mary was telling me that I believe yesterday was her birthday. So, Deputy, God bless you. Because of that, she had another one. So, Deputy Reed, do you want to come up and this is the part where you get to do the public praise, but the microphone is yours, sir.
Oh, boy. First off, Deborah, everything they said is true. I was one of those guys that came in and paid my bill, and you were always pleasant, no matter what, late, on time, early, not at all, everything. You were good. Thank you. Appreciate the recognition today. Was really glad to be able to help Mary in her time of trouble. To me, it did not really feel like that big of a deal at the time. Of course, I wasn't the one in a panic and choking and not able to breathe, so was glad to be there in her moment of strife there and help her along. So I appreciate the recognition.
Bless
He
you.
also followed-
Mary, the microphone's yours.
He also followed me to the hospital to
I
make
did.
sure I
We
got
her
checked in.
Oh, there you go.
We got her
There you
checked in okay.
go. Mary, anything you want to add? The microphone's yours, ma'am.
He is my lifesaver. He's my hero. And I was so glad that he was there.
I didn't even have my cape on. How about that?
Awesome.
All right.
Mary, Deputy, thank you. And if we may present you. Mary, you want to come on up here?
Get a picture?
We have a tradition. It's not official until.
We gotta have a better picture than that. And I don't know what I have done without him.
I was there.
I'll slide to the left a little bit for this one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we are continuing our first public comment portion. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the board at this time? Ah, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners. Morgan McIntosh with the Lake County Township Association and Lake County Concord Township trustee. I'm just following up on a letter that was delivered to your office yesterday regarding some ongoing conversation about the condition of roads in Lake County Townships. So at the end, about a month ago, the engineer came to the Lake County Township Association meeting and delivered an annual report on roads and bridges in the townships as required by Ohio Revised Code. That meeting was also conducted last year, and in the last 12 months, we've seen significant change in the roads in the Lake County Townships to the point where we've had several closures affecting various communities, and there are other closures that we're told are imminent. So we have a situation here. In giving the report, Mr. Gills outlined the responsibility of his department, the amounts of roads and bridges, and gave us a thorough overview of the situation with regard to the engineer's office. In answering to the questions about the last 12 months and the change, it was described to us as the perfect storm. We all know we've seen rising costs with regard to labor and materials and so forth, so we have some higher than usual costs as far as repairing these situations. And so there's a bit of a funding problem with the engineer's office, as I believe you're aware from your budget hearings and some previous public comment. Following the presentation by the engineer, the members of the Lake County Township Association took up a conversation with the understanding that we wanted to come before you with a unified presentation and or position. So there were two main points we'd like to urge. First and foremost, we just want to clearly communicate to you what we feel is a fairly urgent situation. This not only causes an inconvenience for our residents within the community, but we do have concerns as far as response by first responders, that being fire and police. An added thing that we have also, it also impedes the ability for us to effectively offer mutual aid within our townships, and we're all bordering each other, and we help. Concord goes out to Leroy and Perry and all of this, so these road closures impact that as well. So it's a LCTA issue. I do know that in the past there's been some conversation, and I've talked with both of you, but or all of you, but I wanted to say on the record that there was some conversation about is this something that townships should just be taking the responsibility of? We discussed this at length, and as you're aware by Ohio Revised Code, the responsibility of the maintenance relies with the engineer's office, but that the jurisdiction is that of the county commissioners. So given the state of these roads, we would just like to say that would be a problematic, and we would sort of object to that conversation, that understanding that would be a process to which we would have further discussion, but we wanted to get that on the record. The county engineer did present a plan, or a plan of two buckets. There's two groups of projects that he had stating priorities of. The first group of roads would represent about a $5.3 million cost and would repair three different roads, and a second group would cost about $3.3 million to address additional closures. We were told that providing funding this year could see those projects proceed yet in 2023. We understand that there's a lot of demand and strain on the county budget, as there are in all of our budgets. I watched some of the hearings, and I do know that some of the departments here in the county, even as of now, have already received substantial increases to their operating budgets, and I understand that there's a strain there. So we're aware that there's more things in the air than just this, and certainly want to offer our support and conversation, but do want to communicate how important we feel this is. The request of the Lake County Township Association is that we work together and generate a plan to see that this is taken care of this year, or at least started. We talked at length with the engineer during our meeting, and we understand that repairing these roads is not something that happens quickly. It's a process. Funding it and executing it, these things all take time. Roads don't get repaired overnight. So with that, I'd just like to close. I'd like to say I want to thank you for taking the opportunity to hear us today. We have a nice record here of working together, both on law enforcement and the use of ARPA funds. So I'd just like to continue to build that cooperative relationship with this Board of Commissioners to resolve these problems. And with that, I'd like to close with a quote that I seem to be using quite often from President Roosevelt. And in any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing, the next best thing you can do is the wrong thing, and the worst thing you can do is nothing. So with that, I'd like to thank you for hearing us out today, and offer up any questions and or the full resources of our association to work through this together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything for Trustee McIntosh?
I'd just like to say that in the previous few weeks, I've been working with the engineer, and we are working to solve this issue. The priorities will be determined by the engineer's office, and right now we're trying to find out the creative ways to get him what he needs to move forward, so.
Okay, thank you, and I know that we've had some offline conversations about that, so again, I offer that up to any of the commissioners. We, myself, are all available for conversation to work through this together.
And we appreciate your, the coming together and being part of the solution.
Thank you.
That helps.
Thank you, sir. Sir?
Good morning. I am Pete Wayman, Madison Township trustee, and I have a brief statement for the commissioners this morning. There's been a lot of talk lately, back and forth between the commissioners, the county engineer, and many township officials. I think everyone knows the situation with these delayed projects. I believe it is time for action. The county engineer cannot keep stacking these projects up on the back burner. If he does, eventually half the county will be tied up. My plea to the county commissioners is this: do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the board at this time? Do we have anyone else wishing to address the board? Very good. Moving on. Agenda item number 1, Madam Clerk.
In special resolutions, resolution proclaiming May 2023 Older Americans Month in Lake County, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Aaliyah, I believe you have something?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Every May, the nation observes Older Americans Month. This year is the 60th anniversary. Older Americans are the pillars of our community, and it's our responsibility to ensure older adults live, work, and participate in their community with dignity. Older Americans Month is an opportunity to recognize the more than 69,000 older adults that call Lake County home. This year's theme, Aging Unbound, reminds us to expand how we think about aging, emphasizing the many positive aspects, and to inspire older adults to push past traditional boundaries by exploring and combating stereotypes. We encourage older adults to embrace change, find new passions, and stay engaged in the community. Yesterday, the Senior Services Levy Coalition and partners celebrated Older Americans Month at Senior Day at the Great Lakes Mall. We welcomed more than 300 seniors and honored 18 outstanding senior volunteers for their contributions to the community. Thank you to the commissioners for their participation in this event, and I'm going to invite Joe Tomsic, CEO of Council on Aging, up to say a few words.
Joey, do I get to pull your leg at all? Or do I have to behave?
Yes, President, of course.
Got it right this time.
It's a little inside joke there,
Little
yes.
inside baseball. We're
Thank
also
you.
smiling.
Thank you, Aaliyah, for those kind words. Yes, today we honor our senior citizens of Lake County whose lifetimes of hard work, devotion to family, commitment to our community have laid the foundation for the county that we so enjoy. Their passion and experience inspire all of us, and their legacy continues to enrich Lake County and shape our future. We have a responsibility to ensure that Lake County seniors will age with dignity and can age with security as well. Every day of the week, my staff at the Council on Aging and our volunteers work hard to meet the challenges that seniors face. And as a community, we must also protect seniors by expanding our efforts to fight fraud and scams and elder abuse, of course. I thank you, commissioners, for this proclamation today, recognizing older Americans this month, Older Americans of Lake County. Today we show our support and appreciation for these treasured individuals who have contributed so much to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. I would say, though, yesterday's senior event, oh my goodness, that was probably one of the most well-attended, a lot of engagement. I give high praise to all who were so involved. Aaliyah, you usually have a glowing smile. Oh my goodness, you were ear to ear on that one. And Joey, I got to tell you, your your use of the microphone and keeping people engaged and moving across the stage is pretty good. So I know Commissioner Plechnik had to go down to Columbus to give testimony down south on higher education, but Commissioner Regovich and I were able to be there. And wow, this is just one part of so many things that are so active here in Lake County. So, Commissioner Regovich, anything you want to add, Commissioner?
I totally agree. The job that you do, an older American doesn't mean infirmed. It doesn't mean we do more with like pickleball and the things that we do in the communities. It's a quality of life, and I think we provide that here in Lake County. You could tell by how many, was there 350 people there? I was impressed, and they're all happy to be there. And I got to see my mother for lunch, which was a bonus. So it was a good crowd, well participated, and it's good to see them happy and thriving here in Lake County. It's all a testament to your work. Thank you.
Excellent. Well,
Mr. President.
Sir.
To that point, we all get one day older every day. So in addition to a big happy birthday to Mary Feathers, I want to recognize today as Judge John Eklund's birthday, Geauga County Sheriff Scott Hildebrand's birthday, and Lake Tran trustee Laura Pigemeau's birthday. A reminder that if we're lucky enough, each and every one of us will be a senior, which is why our goal in Lake County is to be the best place, not just to live and work, but retire. A place where we can age and grow old in our own homes, where we can take advantage of our community at all ages, because we're hoping that someday we'll live long enough to reach that point. Now, I see the Department of Utilities still here, and I'm reminded of the work we've done together in providing the 25% senior discount for Lake County water and sewer fees. We're very committed in Lake County to making sure that we take care of our seniors. So when we pass a proclamation for Older Americans Month, it's not just a statement, it's a promise that we will be the best county, the best place in Ohio to retire and live your entire life, not just the first part of it. So I hope that as Deborah enjoys her golden years, she chooses to stay here with her family in Lake County. We don't want to lose you as a resident. So we're going to continue our advocacy. I know the work isn't done. As Mr. Massey often points out, seniors are being taxed out of their homes, and we continue to advocate for 100% property tax exemption for our seniors. So this is not just a statement, it's a promise. We're going to work to make sure that Lake County and all of Ohio is the best place to retire.
Thank you, sir. Do you mind? Come on up. Right. Oh, good heavens. Mother discipline. Yes, ma'am. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Brush it.
All right, folks. 1, 2, oh, wait. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Resolution recognizing the week of May 14th to the 20th, 2023 is National Police Week in Lake County, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second.
And discussion. Well, we started the meeting off with an example of the Deputy Reed of all the things that go on, so that's a good start. Commissioner Regovich, I believe you have something to answer.
I believe that National Police Week, to recognize us this year, is needed more than ever. We see it nationwide. the shortage of people that want to be a police officer, the shortage of people that want to serve, what we have to do here locally to maintain our presence. But I'm glad to see that the sheriff, the deputies are here today. But Police Week, I think soon should be every week. But the sheriff has something to say.
We'll see what happens.
Mr. President, while the sheriff walks up, I just want to say thank you, Sheriff Leombruno, to you, to all of your deputies, and the many police departments you work with every single day to keep us safe. There's no greater advocate for law enforcement, and we're grateful for your lifetime of dedication to our police and deputies in Lake County, as we're grateful to each and every one of them for putting their lives on the line every day to keep us safe.
Sheriff.
I have no comment.
Oh, thank you, sir. And a few words.
I guess to speak for all law enforcement in Lake County, not just the sheriff's office, but all police departments throughout the county and everyone associated with that. It's great to be recognized, and it is important to recognize law enforcement. And I think Lake County police officers very much appreciate the support of the Lake County communities for their efforts. And it doesn't go unnoticed, that appreciation. Monday was Police Memorial Day, created by President Kennedy. And last year, 60 police officers died from gunfire. Already this year, 19 police officers have died from gunfire. There's other statistics involved in terms of other related issues from law enforcement dying. But it is a dangerous field today. And I noted on Monday, there are a number of individuals, unfortunately, who have served in law enforcement that commit suicide based on what they see in this field, whether it's handling the accidents, the stresses related to the job, various incidents they're involved in. So it's an important day, Monday, to recognize that. But I think all law enforcement in Lake County recognizes that the jobs we do is a reflection of government. If we don't do our jobs correctly, people lose faith in government. And that's the last thing we want to accomplish. So law enforcement is committed in Lake County to returning back to the community. So thank you very much for recognizing them.
Well said, sir. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Sir.
I think it's also in Lake County, I don't think people see behind the scenes on how well our law enforcement work together, how well our fire departments work together. It's an impressive thing, and unfortunately we only really see it when something really bad happens, but it happens every day, from the sheriff's department to the whatever department it is. If there's a need, everyone's willing to help out in Lake County, and it's already a system that's in place and has been in place for a long time. So we have the coverage of anything we need at any given time countywide. So I'm proud to live here for one, and to represent Lake County. So thank you, Sheriff, and thanks for all the police departments.
Well said. Commissioner Pleshner.
Mr. President, once again, I would just say there aren't words sufficient to express our gratitude, but I agree with the sheriff that our community collectively saying thank you is important, because so much of the issue that we have today with the shortage of police officers is about society failing to appreciate our need for their support and their help. Police have never said, pay us the most. They've never said, give us the highest benefits. But I do think that the last several years have been frightening, where society has questioned the value of policing and law enforcement. And I think that's hurt a lot of communities where they've lost their officers who said, well, if you don't want us, there are far more lucrative, safer careers we can go into. That's certainly true. But I think Lake County has benefited by the fact that we have universally come together in support of our police, whether it be the townships, the cities, the villages, the county. We've all come together in one statement to say, we support you and we're grateful for the great risk that each and every police officer, each and every law enforcement officer takes on every day. So this is a small statement of gratitude, but I agree with our sheriff, it matters, and we never should stop recognizing the great contribution of law enforcement.
Well said. And Sheriff, after our vote, that's for our clerk here, may we present this to you and your staff. There's many deputies here with us today. Can we, would you honor us as we honor you with your presence? Thank you. All right, with that, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you. Come on up, folks.
I got the height advantage. One more. 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Not so fast.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item, please.
In the engineer's office, resolution awarding a bid contract to Grand River Asphalt Company for the roadway materials 2023 plant mix pavements contract as required by the Lake County engineer in the amount of $377,500.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Jim, anything you want to add?
Yeah, this is our annual contract that we put out for materials that we use to do minor repairs on the roadway surfaces out of our county garage.
And that's self-performed. That's in-house staff and
Yeah.
equipment.
And handiwork,
Excellent. Thank you.
however handy that is.
Hey, it keeps the roads in service, so at least those roads. So, yes. Anything further, gentlemen? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract to J.D. Williamson Construction Company Incorporated for the LAK County Road 711-0.59 Bishop Road Bridge Project as required by the Lake County engineer in the amount of $1,207,521.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Engineer?
Yes, Commissioner, this is a bridge project that was awarded to us by the County Engineers Association representing ODOT, and this is money that is coming from the extra money that the feds have fed into the various states for capital improvement projects. This is an 80-20 project, so we will be funding out of my budget about $250,000 of this project.
And the matching funds, you do have that available,
That's from the feds,
the matching funds.
the matching funds.
So the
Oh, the matching funds, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, I have this particular project budgeted already.
Okay. 'Cause again, I just want to be clear, there are other projects that you are in need of matching funds for, but this is not one of them.
This is not one of them, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, there's nothing further. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution authorizing advertising for bids for limestone sand for the Lake County Department of Utilities, bid opening June 14, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing advertising for bids for fittings, repair parts, service equipment, and tools for the Lake County Department of Utilities, bid opening June 14, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Fund and Project Fund 596, Adams, Melridge, and Industrial Park Project 415S 2018.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash from Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Fund transfers out to General Obligation Retirement Funds transfers in.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Randy, that one's kind of a mouthful. I think we all know what it means, but do you want to put it in plain English for anyone who might be curious?
Sure. This is from a project a few years ago in Kirtland where we borrowed money to pay for the project, and this is paying the loan back.
There you go. Just that simple. Thank you. If there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Water Operating Fund and Project Fund 595, Hardy Road Regulator Project 468W 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash from Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Fund to Project Funds 596 for note payments due June 28, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash from Lake County Department of Utilities Water Fund and Sewer Fund transfers out to OWDA Bond Retirement Funds transfers in.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract in the amount of $2,370,664 to Fabrizi Trucking and Paving Company for Vine Street Waterline Replacement Phase 2 Project 447W 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Randy, a little background there?
Sure. This is phase 2 of our Vine Street improvement projects. This will bring it up to State Route 91. This is one of the projects that I've been talking about as far as the cost of materials and estimates. Originally, when we conceived of this project about 2 years ago, our estimate was about $1.4 million, and now we're awarding a contract for almost $2.4 million. So that's indicative of a lot of the projects we've been doing. We'll follow this with phase 3 in about a year and a half. That'll bring it from 91 all the way to the freeway. That'll complete Vine Street for us.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything further? All right. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $129,566.80 for water lines for Booth Farms Phase 3 subdivision in Perry Village, job number 22-68.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $139,517.84 for sanitary sewers for Booth Farms Phase 3 subdivision in Perry Village, job number 22-69.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid water and sewer sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing execution of a contract with Schindler Elevator Corporation procured through Sourcewell on behalf of the Lake County Department of Buildings and Grounds for the replacement of the elevator in the Lake County Nolan Building in an amount not to exceed $358,909.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Jason?
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. The resolution before you will be for the complete rebuild of the elevator, formerly known as the Nolan Building, currently known as Building B, here on our campus. Our Buildings and Grounds has been working for the better part of a year to maintain that, working with various vendors, suppliers, etc. And unfortunately, that elevator is beyond its useful life. Obviously, we have a number of departments over there, including our planning, community development, building department, Port Authority, tax map, GIS, all of which see a considerable amount of customer traffic. The price is a procured price from Sourcewell, which is pre-approved, and we will utilize a portion of some CDBG funding to help offset this cost. But I think this is an important example to know kind of the permanent improvements that we're responsible throughout our portfolio of structures, and that unfortunately more often than not, due to some of the age of our facilities, these projects can be somewhat spendy, but we're in a good position to handle these improvements when need to occur. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything for Jason?
I know I won't use that elevator.
All right. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution declaring the intent of the Board of Lake County Commissioners to approve the vacation of a portion of Hazel Drive cul-de-sac in Concord Township.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Sir.
best vacation I had in years.
Yay. And it's got waterfront property there, so yay. Especially when it rains. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,035,578.87.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $595,130.86.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes. All right. Departmental reports, utilities.
Nothing additional today, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. And County Administrator, Jason.
Good morning. Just very briefly, just a continued update on the Public Safety Center as far as reviewing contracts. That continues with HOK. I hope to have some product in front of the commissioners over the next week or two for consideration of the next phase of that particular project. Secondly, just a brief update on the Sheriff's Range project. It's coming along really nicely. I know Engineer Gills has been knee-deep in that for the better part of the year. I would say the structure itself is 95% complete. There's some TLC that needs to happen. The flooring's in, drop ceiling's in, plumbing fixtures, etc. We're going in, I think, maybe today or tomorrow. Phase 2, which is the plus or minus 40 by 40 pre-engineered structure. I hope to have that contract in front of you next week. We got the documents back from the vendor yesterday. And then I believe maybe tomorrow, county engineer and some sheriff folks will be going on site to start looking at the site work and kind of getting our arms around what the exterior and drainage, et cetera, looks like when the entire project will be complete. So hope to have maybe a ribbon cutting for phase 1 and maybe a groundbreaking for phase 2 simultaneously in the coming weeks. But I want to thank the commissioners for their support because it's come along really nicely. So,
Excellent. Thank you.
Jason, how are we doing on power?
all 4 poles were set this week. First Energy was there Monday. Now it's trying to get the electrician back on site to run his conduit from pole 1 to the building, and then that'll complete that task. So hopefully in the next few days. But yeah, First Energy was on site this week and went pole 1 closest to the building all the way back. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk.
I guess the next commissioners meeting is going to be on Thursday, May 25th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, ma'am. Legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. County Engineer.
I don't have anything today other than to say that yes, the CEI was out there and have been out to the sheriff's facility. We did also put down some stone at the request of Jason and Jeff to clear up some of the mud holes. We were blessed with having some stone that was left over on a project last year that was not our project. They called and said, did we want it? The contractor did, and so we used that. So the sheriff got a little extra stone at no cost.
Free is well within our budget. Just a quick follow-up. Obviously, we get emails and calls regarding State Route 2, the lights, and the general upkeep. Can you give us an update on that?
Tracy, where are you?
Uh-oh.
Come on up and give us an update. I know exactly who that message was from.
Tracy, aren't you glad you came today? Sorry for the curveball, but...
So we continue to work on the lighting on State Route 2. There are a few different issues there, one being in the area around 615 to 306. And that location has an issue with First Energy. So the power was turned off by the contractor for ODOT working on the Hendricks Road Bridge last year. Unfortunately, they did not cut the power in we'll say in a legitimate way. So now we have to contract with First Energy to get everything restored. That's taking quite a while. We've worked through Wendy Zeely, who's our government contract relations. However, she puts us back in touch with First Energy, which requires you to sit on the phone for 6-8 hours to try to coordinate. So we're on a list. I can't tell you when they'll be restored. We just know First Energy says you're there on that list.
And just to be clear, it's not like, and since we were talking about customer service earlier in our meeting, it's not like you're calling to talk about, hey, what's my bill all about? You're actually calling their engineering department and getting on their engineering schedule for restoration of services.
Correct. Had the contractor who'd done that work through First Energy to have the power turned off, this would be a much simpler fix. But unfortunately, it also took us quite a while to get to the place to determine why it was off and couldn't be restored. We had some communication issues with ODOT. Of course, they believed it wasn't their issue. Contractor believed it wasn't theirs. And then in the long run, we paid a contractor who followed wire down the freeway to each exit ramp where we have our controllers, and then eventually found the problem. So it's time consuming to be able to get there.
So obviously budgets are a real issue. Is this something that we can charge back for, or are we on the hook for this, or is this somebody's going to be building some goodwill of, boy, you guys really owe us on this one? Where are we at with that?
That's what we're working with, trying to get First Energy to even provide a price. You know, if they're going to want to charge back, we've spoken with the project manager at ODOT for that project, who says, you know, if they can confirm, their contractor did confirm that they turned it off, which means they can put that back to It's Beaver Excavating as the contractor to have them pay that, or through ODOT, through a claim, through their insurance. So we don't have a definite how it will get there, because everyone says, well, let's see the invoice and then we can work on it. And until First Energy completes that, we're still in a holding pattern.
And just so this is abundantly clear to those who have an interest in this, it's not a matter of money that's delaying it. It's
No.
all a matter of the function of going through the engineering, going through the process, having a contractor restoring this under the supervision and participation of First Energy.
Correct.
This is not the engineer's office saying, oh, we don't have the money, we can't do it. It really is just as involved of a process because somebody skipped a step along the way.
Correct. And then we do have other issues in other areas, contractors working. Some of them are components for the controllers that are on national back order. We were fortunate enough to purchase the last 3 fuses that fit into the controller at Lost Nation over the last few months, and we're able to do that. But then there were other parts that they're waiting on to be able to make those repairs. It's also an old system, and by several contractors who have come out to look at all of our lighting, they've acknowledged what we already know, that a lot of times on ODOT projects, which are not their projects, contractors use the best material, cheapest materials that they can get. So some of the equipment we have is a little bit outdated in comparison to what new systems would look like and the components they use, which makes it more difficult to get those older parts. So we're waiting on that as well.
And said a little differently, it's called new old stock. They put whatever meets the specification at that moment. Vendors can clear out their inventory and we're stuck with obsolete equipment. For all practical purposes, it might actually have a functional life of 2 or 3 years rather than 10 or 15.
Correct.
How am I doing so far?
Good. I was trying to put it nicely, yes.
Oh, I'm done with nice, because we get blamed for all this all the time. And I think the public has a right to know that sometimes, although the vendors are following the state standards,
Correct.
the state standards could be a whole lot better looking forward, and there should be advantages to putting in stuff that's going to be serviceable rather than it'll work till the end of their obligation or their bond. Then on the issue, it sounds like we got the lights addressed on the general upkeep, mowing, litter pickup, that kind of stuff. Are we getting into that time of year when that's going to
We
start
have.
back up again?
We've been on the freeway for probably the last month or so. We started, trash pickup is very cumbersome. ODOT has copied us on emails that they receive as well, on 90 on State Route 2. But as soon as you pick up the trash, there's more there. We have had employees who've walked the complete length of the freeway. We've gone from the Grand River all the way to the Cuyahoga County line, down all of the ramps. But it makes it difficult when trucks are not tarped, garbage trucks are not closed, so that trash is flying out and it comes back again. We did mowing, which we started on Monday, and we are almost complete with mowing of the freeway. As discussed before, we follow ODOT and EPA directives, sort of their requirements. So our first mows, we no longer mow the entire freeway. So we don't mow from the edge of the pavement all the way to the fence line. We do 2 mows, 2 passes, which will be about 12 feet. At the interchanges, we'll mow more in order to improve sight distance. And part of the reasoning with that is to increase the natural habitats for birds, butterflies, other insects that are in the area, so we're leaving more of a natural path.
I can hear the cheap seats over here. What? Mosquitoes, nice. Thanks.
Only when it rains.
Only when it rains. That'll be that waterfront property.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate
You're
those
welcome.
updates.
Thank you.
And Jim, do you have anything? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I do. And Randy knows this, but a lot of times these contracts that they draw with a particular specification, they take several years to come to completion, and during that period of time, sometimes and frequently, the stuff goes out of production, or actually, anyways, it's old.
Yeah.
And what happens is that they buy it when they first start the contract, and then by the time they get around at the end installing the stuff, it's it's old. It's so that when we have to repair it, it's already parts are not available or hard to get, or we have to go look for them in other areas and try to come up with something to make it work. because we just can't take the electrical and rip it out and start all over again. It just, first of all, it's not our responsibility, it's through the estates. So it's a very slippery slope.
So, and I think, some of the emails I'm referring to, can we maybe give an update back to those parties?
We have done that several times, but the one lady in particular we're talking about likes to bug us every 2 weeks and say, I want more information, I want more information. And, the only thing we can say is it's a work in progress. There's not much, and when it's done, it's done. But only send so many of the same emails.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right. Very good. If there's nothing further for the engineer, moving on to old business. Do we have any old business coming for the board?
Mr. President?
Sir.
To the clerk's point, we do have our regularly scheduled commissioner meeting next week, but I think it's worth noting that the following week, June 1st, there is not a commissioners meeting. Just in case if someone's planning on joining us, we do have our regular meeting next week, but there is no commissioners meeting on June 1st.
Very good. Thank you, sir. All right. Is there any other old business? Moving on to new business. Do you have any new business?
Oh,
I'm making Joel nervous here. It's like, is he going to remember? Is he going to remember? Joel DeMar. There's a note. I got a note. Call
I know.
me, so.
Good morning. Really quick, just wanted to advise the commissioners that at next week's meeting, there will be a resolution before you guys to consider to amend our master contract with Medical Mutual that runs through the end of the year. Nothing in the amendment affects prices, rates, benefits, any of that kind of stuff. The amendment actually is to adopt new language around the federal No Surprises Act. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. And also, we are in an RFP year for both medical and prescription coverage this year. So Jason and I believe Mr. Matus is calling in this afternoon. We have a meeting to discuss that, and we'll give you more information as we move towards a decision for new contracts for next year. So.
And the first point you made, that's a compliance and conformity measure, and there will be no cost associated with it.
That's correct.
Those are the things that
Yep.
I thought was important. So
Those are very
let's
important.
check those boxes off.
Yep.
Gentlemen, anything else for Joel?
good luck on the rest of it.
No problem.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right, any other new business? Do we have any other new business? Very good. Moving on to our second public comment portion. Sir.
Brian Massey.
I don't think your mic's on, sir.
Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive. I'd like to publicly thank Jason Boyd and Chief Izzo for agreeing to meet with 3 citizens. And we had Dennis Kinney, John Maher, and myself. We were discussing the questions that we had, concerns about the building of the jail. We've conceded, many times that we agreed that we need a new jail and not to try to spend untold tens of $millions on the existing jail. Mr. Maher had some questions regarding the design-build bridge concept, and he conceded that that was the proper approach in going through with the construction. Mr. Keeney had some questions regarding the exterior of the building, and Mr. Boyd said he was very aware of that, and that will be, taken into consideration. In fact, probably the Painesville Planning will probably enter into that to give some opinion on that. We had also some questions regarding the number of beds, and that's still a little up in the air, and not to say that we think we've got 504 is too much or not enough. One thing that I did see though, that we are incorporating that, as I said before, a rehabilitation model. And there's one concept that I keep hearing throughout the community. As I go to the many meetings, board meetings and Lakeland, and the phrase I keep hearing is mental health. there is I see that there's a growing concern about the mental health of our society. So I think that is probably going to be an issue that we are going to have to address, because it seems to be a compounding problem. Mr. Boyd also went through the financing, starting with 170 million, and we recognize that we do have a substantial down payment, but there's still, you're going to have a tough decision to make. I know running the county, it takes a lot of money. You can't drain all the reserves, because you've got elevators to replace, you've got roads to fix, and bridges to repair. So I know you've got a challenge ahead in trying to determine whether or not we can finance it. But it seems that where the three of us came to the realization that we're now at the point where the commissioners are probably going to have to approve a $4 or $5 million design phase, so that you can take it to the next level, so you can actually get some firm numbers to determine whether the $170 million is appropriate. Is it too high or not enough? Unfortunately, as things are going these days, it's probably going to be higher than that. I hope I'm wrong. But I'm also, one last thing, I just want to say, anytime I have meetings with any of our county officials, with Jason or Chief Izzo or Joel, they're quality people, and I commend you for having such quality staff working for the citizens of Lake County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Just put a little finer point on the mental health component. That is one of the things that Lake County has learned that lesson in abundance. That's one of the reasons why we're one of the lead counties nationally on the opioid litigation. Mental health and addiction, they go hand in hand. Sometimes they're co-conditions, other times one masks the other. So that is a reality that we have to deal with. So thank you for bringing that up, but I want to give a little more context to it. Sir, thank you for your...
Thank you very much.
Anyone else wish... sir, you dropped your pen. As long as it's not a messenger bag left at our desk. So. Sir.
John Music, 45 Coventry Drive. I just want to personally and publicly thank our sheriff and the men and women that do the job here in Lake County. Like I've said before many, many times, without our military and without our law enforcement, we will not have a country. And also, like I have said here many, many years before any of you were here, you can take a gun and drugs and set them on that table. Until someone picks them up and does something bad with them, no one's ever going to get hurt. And why is this happening? We were talking about mental health. Why are people doing what they do? And that, we have to go back to the source. I mean, bottom line is, if people didn't use drugs, they'd still be sitting there. Or people didn't pick up that gun and do something bad with it, it'd still be sitting there. Why is this happening in our country? And I want to thank the sheriff and the men and women of Lake County Sheriff's Department for doing what they do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President.
Sir.
I would just say, we always thank John for his very thoughtful and insightful comments, and I just want to add, when I think back to the founding of the country, we've always had more guns than people, and we've always had mental health issues. But for some reason, Benjamin Franklin didn't shoot up Thomas Jefferson's school. And I think what's really changed since the founding of our country to today, this is my personal, sincerely held belief, is that we've lost sight of the fact that there is absolute right and wrong. That there is a God, there is a heaven, there is a hell. And when we were plainer about those truths, and we accepted that as a society, even the folks who were marginal, who were having a hard time understanding, could get that murder was just wrong. And I think we've gotten into such a weird topsy-turvy world of moral relativism where we can't come out as a society and say there is absolute right and absolute wrong. And I think that confuses people who are already suffering from other conditions and issues, where before we had a plain black and white answer to those questions. And I think we need to go back to recognition that there is right, there is wrong, there is a God, and we are accountable. We are accountable, whether in this life or the next. And until we get back to that, I think we're going to continue to see these problems, because there are infinite ways to hurt other people, and we will always suffer from mental health issues. Those are always, as long as we're human beings, that's the human condition. The question is, do we have a moral fabric as a society? And we've lost so much of that.
Very good. Anyone else wishing to address the board at this time? Anyone else? Very good. Moving on, we do have 2 requests for executive session. The first being personnel collective bargaining. The second, real estate acquisition. There will be no business to be conducted afterwards. May I have a motion to adjourn for the reasons so stated?
Move to approve.
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.